Welcome back to another class on Evean Hazaer Halacha series. We are in Siman Aleph Halacha Yud. This will be part 9 of the Shi'ur. If you have not listened to part 7 of the Shi'ur for this Halacha, please listen before continuing in Ot Chav Gimel in the Bach. We are continuing today in Ot Chav Gimel in the Bach with the second part. The Beit Chadash says, Mihu Beit Chadash Katav. However, the Beit Chadash wrote, Kabalahi Migidulei Ha'olam. It's a tradition from the great ones of the world, that you should propose the matter before the great people, meaning before the great rabbis, that are in that generation. And let 100 rabbis come together and let them give the permission to overlook the cherem of Rabbeinu Gershom. V'gam yashlish. But listen to this, Rabotai. Listen what the Beit Chadash does now. Not only is the Beit Chadash telling us that you need 100 Rabbanim that are going to go ahead and allow you to marry another woman, but he also says this guy, he should go ahead and he should appoint a third party, which is going to be the Bedin. V'gam yashlish sacha kituba v'nidoneta v'tosefet kituba biyad bedin. He should go and he should take the sum of the kituba and the dowry and the additional sum of the kituba, and he should give it over to the hand of the bedin. What is the Beit Chadash telling us over here? You have to recall in part 1, which is part 7. I'm saying in part 1 of the Beit of part 1 of the Beit Shmuel, which is part 7 in the Shu'ur, you have to recall the machlokit between the Kolbo and the Darkei Moshe. The Kolbo said you need 100 anashim. He didn't say rabbanim. He said you need 100 men, which is interesting, from 3 different congregations, from 3 different countries. That's the Kolbo's opinion. Came the Darkei Moshe, said, why do you need 100 men? You don't need 100 men. Since the cherem of Rabbeinu Gershom is expired, you don't need 100 men. He's allowed to go and he's allowed to marry another woman. What's the problem? Comes the Beit Chadash makes it a little bit more difficult. Not only does the Beit Chadash say, go ahead and propose this whole idea before the great rabbis of the generation and let them come to an agreement to permit that this guy is able to go and marry another woman. Not only that, but plus he says, Vigam yashlish sacha kituba v'niduneta v'tosefet kituba biyad bedin. He should go and he should give it to a third party, meaning, what is the sum of the kituba? He should take the sum of the kituba, whatever, let's say it's $20,000, for example, then v'niduneta, and her dowry, whatever the wife brought into the marriage before she got married to her husband, whatever was given to her, that also has to go back into the hands of Bedin. And also Tosefet Ketubah. And also the extra sum that he had placed on the Ketubah, because the Ketubah has a certain amount. 200 zuz. 200 silver coins. Let's say he wanted to put more. That's called Tosefet. That's called the extra. So these 3 things comes at Beit Chadash, and he tells you the Ketubah, the Niduneta, and the Tosefet HaKetubah should go into the hands of Bedin. Before he marries another wife, he should give all this to the Bedin. And only afterwards can he go ahead and marry another woman. The Beit Chadash is very stringent. Give her the ketubah, give her dowry back, and give her the extra amount that you promised on the ketubah to the Bedin. Only then can you marry another woman. That's Rabotai, plus the 100 Rabbanim that have to give you permission to overlook the cherem of Rabbeinu Gershom. So let's just do that one more time. Mihu, however, Beit Chadash the Beit Chadash wrote, Kabbalahim migdulei ha'olam. It's a tradition from the great ones of the world, meaning the great rabbis of the world. They should propose this idea before the great rabbis of that generation. And let them come to an agreement through 100 rabbis that they're going to allow they're going to permit this guy to marry another woman, and they're going to overlook the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershom. That's number one. We need 100 Rabbanim. Point number two, Vigam Yashlish. Let him go ahead and now appoint a third party, which is going to be the Bedin. That's number two. And let him go ahead and give the Sacha Kituba, the total sum of the Kituba, let him give the dowry, and let him give also the extra amount of money that he added on the Kituba. Let him give all this biyad a Bedin, and only afterwards can he marry another woman. And furthermore, he wrote in Siman Kuf Yutet Od Zayin, She'itein get biyad shaliach halacha. He should give the get into the hands of the messenger who's going to go ahead and bring the get to his wife. Eventually, when she becomes stubborn, when she's going to become normal. Shia get biyado, the get should be in the messenger's hand, ad shitishtafa, until she's sound of mind, until she comes back to her normal self, meaning until she heals. V'chayav liyached la bait b'fnei atzma. He's also obligated to go ahead and designate for her a house by herself, by itself. V'yishmor otam miminhag hefker. He has to guard her that she shouldn't behave in an improper way. Because remember, now that he's married to somebody else, if she's living in another house, she can have men coming over and she's going to be ownerless. Meaning she's going to allow other men to do whatever they want to her body. That's what comes the Bach, and he tells you, absolutely not. Not only what the Beit Chadash is telling us now, all this 100 Rabbanim, Kituba, dowry, the extra sum of the Kituba, plus you have to give her the get. Now you have to designate for her as a house, and plus you have to go ahead and you have to watch after her that she doesn't act in a immodest way. And also he says, he also is obligated to sustain her. Basically, he's obligated to give her the basic means, food, money, clothing, whatever it is. So this guy, unfortunately, whatever the case might have been, if she lost her mind, this lady, and now she's not divorceable, according to the Beit Chadash, he has to go through all this in order to go ahead and marry another woman. Udvar Sham Mashikad B'Shem Maharshal Sotrim L'Mashikad B'Siman. He says his words over there, what he wrote in the name of the Maharshal, they contradict what he wrote over here in this Siman. Okay. Ve'im en yado masegit la'shlish ha'kituba. What happens if he does not have, if he's not able, meaning that if he's not able to attain the full amount of the ketubah in order to be able to give it to the third party, Katav b'teshuva tzemech tzedek. It's written in the response of the tzemech tzedek, Siman Samach Zayin. De'yesh takana. There's a way to go around it. You could fix it. Dekorovechi yimchuru ha'ketubah leba'ala betova'at hana'ah. Let the relatives of the wife sell the ketubah to the husband as a favor. Basically, they're making a settlement with him. V'yitein la mizonot. And now let him give her food also. So basically, what's going to end up happening right now? Reuven is married to Sarah. Sarah lost her mind, so he can't divorce her. So comes the Bach and he brings the Tzemech Tzedek and he says like this. What happens that we want him to give the full ketubah. Let's say his ketubah was $500,000. He can't afford it. He can't, it's too much. But one of the things according to the Beit Chadash, in order to get married, is he has to give the ketubah to the hands of the Bedin. Because you have to remember, Rabotai, why are we doing all this? Maybe I should have said it earlier. Why are we doing this? Why are we giving the Bedin, the ketubah, the dowry, and the extra amount, what is owned on top of the ketubah? Why are we giving her? And plus we have to give the get to the shaliach. And plus we have to give get her a house. And plus he has to sustain her. Why? Because you have to remember she's still not divorced. The second she becomes normal, when she's going to go back to her normal self, now Bedin is going to say, this is your ketubah, this is your dowry, this is the extra sum of money that was added to your ketubah when you made the kiddushin with your husband. And then the shaliach, the messenger, is going to come and is going to say, this is your get. So you see how it works, Rabotai? Because we don't know when she's going to become normal. So that's why we're doing all this in advance. So comes the Bach and he says, what happens if he's not able to give the ketubah? That's one of the conditions. He's not able. It's $500,000. It's too much for him. No problem. Let the relatives of the wife sell the ketubah as a favor to make a settlement with him. You could afford 200. You could afford 100,000. Give us something. Once they take the 100,000, now they have to wait until she becomes normal. But what does he have to also do? After he gives the 100,000, he has to also sustain her basic needs, food, clothing, and so on. But after, when she gets healed, he's obligated to divorce her immediately. Why? In order for him not to have two wives. This is the opinion of the Tzemach Tzedek. If he's not able to give her the ketubah, no problem. Settle with the family when it comes to the ketubah. Continue giving her her proper sustenance. Continue taking care of her. Once she healed, now give her the get, meaning divorce her immediately because now she's sound of mind, in order for him not to have two wives. So Rabotai, we're going to conclude over here. So we see over here, let me just make a summary from the Bach, that there are different opinions. Again, you remember, in the Ramah, that's I said, listen to part 7. In the Ramah, he clearly said that a woman who lost her mind, or if you have a woman that halachically the husband was able to divorce her, but she didn't want to accept the divorce, the Ramah clearly says, Yesh lehakel latir lo litacheret. You can be lenient to allow him to marry another woman. That's it. And that's what the Darkei Moshe said in the Bach when we had done it in part 7. But in any event, let's just go through this Bach outside. The Bach said that he brought the opinion of the Kolbo, and he said that the Kolbo wrote, you need 100 men from 3 different congregations, from 3 different countries, in order to waive the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershom. The Darkei Moshe said, why? You don't need nothing. Because the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershom already expired at the 5,000th year, when we're already over that. So therefore he's allowed to go and get married to the second wife without a problem, like the Ramah Paskin inside. Came the Beit Chadash said, 1 second. Not only am I going to require you to get me 100 Rabbanim from that generation, that should come to the agreement to allow this guy to marry his second wife, meaning to waive the Cherem Rabbeinu Gershom, but plus we want the husband to give Bedin the full sum of the ketubah, her dowry, and the extra amount of what he promised on top of the ketubah. Everything into the hands of Bedin. When she's going to get healed, we're going to give everything back to her. Then he said also, regarding the get, same concept. When it comes to the get, we want the husband to write out a get. We don't want him to be married at the same time to 2 wives. We want him to write out a get, give it to the shalich, to the messenger, who's going to bring her the get eventually when she's going to be sound of mind, and then he's going to be able to divorce her. However, we continue seeing that still the husband has an obligation until she becomes normal. The husband has an obligation to set for her a house where she's going to live there, and he has to guard her, making sure that she doesn't do not good things. She doesn't go and sleep around with men. Plus, he's obligated to sustain her, give her food and everything else. But then we did see what happens if he's not able to give her the full amount of the ketubah. The family is able to sell the ketubah to the husband as a settlement. Whatever amount of money he's going to give, eventually they're going to hold it for the wife when she becomes normal. But at the same time, the husband is obligated to still sustain her. But once she becomes normal, he's obligated to divorce immediately in order not to have 2 wives. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen.